Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes. This is the forecast where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers to help us navigate it in the most high vibrational way possible. And in this case, we're going to look at a very special topic, Friday the 13th, and the impact of Venus and Mars this week. It's a very powerful week in terms of the divine feminine and sacred masculine coming together and merging within us in the numerology codes and astrology codes at the same time. So to begin this Venus-Mars week, we have on Monday, January 9th, Venus trine to Mars. And the trine is 120 degrees. It's harmonious. And with Venus and Mars, that means there's a wonderful love, affectionate, passionate connection. We feel just the sense of connection, and it doesn't have to be between the masculine and feminine. It basically is connection to begin with within us that then reaches out and resolves any issues, personal or otherwise, professional. This is a great time to let go, to discuss, and creatively feel very, very much engaged and on fire. And that begins this special Venus-Mars week, because next in line on Thursday, the 12th of January, Mars, after being retrograde for 2.5 months since October 30th, 2022, is stationing direct on the 12th. And the date, 1/12/2023, adds up to the number 11. So it's an 11 universal date. And that means that the portal, the 11 portal, opens up onto self-growth. So 12 is the number of the eternal student, and it's also the number of creativity because it reduces to 3. 1 + 2 = 3. So we have this beautiful dive into enhancing inner knowledge, inner wisdom, and also getting relaxed as a result and creating something special. Mediation, diplomacy are all impacted because of the number 11 as well. 11 reduces to 2. 2 is two people communicating, connecting, the whole Venus-Mars storyline. And so this is an incredible day on the numerology level. Now, on the astrology level, Mars is long retrograde in Gemini, the sign of communication ruled by Mercury. This has been really deep in terms of our willingness to go into what drives us passionately and sharing that with the world. And now that Mars is at a standstill, which is when a planet has its greatest impact. So basically all this week, moving into the 12th, 13th, 14th, big Mars impact now because it is literally not moving and changing directions. So with the direct motion, which is slowly going to pick up, starting with the 12th and 13th of January, communication slowly begins to quicken between you and others, moving towards clarity. So if there was anything that needs to be clarified or brought into harmony or infused with fire, this will absolutely take off. And energetically, you just feel a sense of lightness because of the internal fire that allows you to move more quickly. And that movement theme will absolutely explode. It's going to expand in a huge way by the end of January. And I will get into why that is later on in one of our later star code forecasts. But it truly is going to be a magical shift. If you've been feeling with the 2 retrogrades we've been going through, Mercury and Mars, over the holidays, if you've been feeling sort of slow and basically the pace has really shifted where you're needing to be patient or things are not moving as fast as you planned and you're more tired and you need more sleep or whatever the case may be, all of that is about to change. And this is the first step, the Mars change of direction on the 12th of January. And so then we have Friday the 13th. There are 2 Friday the 13th in 2023. This is the first one. And it just so happens during this week of Mars stationing direct. Mars and Venus are intimately connected, and the Venus-Mars trine. Why am I bringing up Venus? Well, Venus rules Friday. Friday is named in the English language after Freya, the Norse goddess connected to Venus. And then in French, Friday is Vendredi, which is named after Venus. And so this is the day that Venus owns. So Friday the 13th, and we're going to go into how that was created in a moment. Friday the 13th is a very, very fortunate day for the divine feminine. Now, because Mars just stationed direct the day before and is at a standstill, this is a big energy surge, very magnetic. There's a lot that wants to be revealed and come out into the open. It's very magnetic energy. So be aware that this week, especially as we go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, things will heat up. And on this day in the heavens, the sun sextiles Neptune. Neptune plays a big role because it is the ruler of Pisces, and we're at the end of the Piscean age, moving into the Aquarian age. But Pisces plays a major role once we get into March. There's a lot happening in that sign. So this trine between the sun and Neptune makes you very intuitive. You're listening more. Your ability to just listen to your inner voice is very dynamic, very much enhanced. And your dreams, everything is vivid. Your imagination, your creativity, your empathy, your compassion. And you just feel the sense of sweetness in your life, which is a very divine feminine theme. So that's on Friday the 13th that we have that transit between the sun and Neptune. So let's look a little bit more closely at this number 13. 13 is the number of the divine feminine. And the reason is we have, first of all, 13 weeks in a season. We have 13 lunations, which are moon cycles in a year. And the moon cycles govern the feminine cycles. Each of the 4 seasons have 13 weeks, which when you multiply by 4, make up the 52-week year. And 4 governs the 4 seasons and the 4 directions that we have on Earth. So we have the moon cycles directly aligned with the earthly seasons. All of that is connected to the divine feminine. And 13 is also aligned to Venus. Venus has 13 cycles. And so there is this incredible connection here with the number 13 to the divine feminine. So what happened with this number 13? Why is the number 13 considered unlucky and Friday the 13th considered unlucky? In the last 2,000 years or so, the patriarchal systems in play wanted to eliminate this frequency of the 13 because it is so connected to the divine feminine. Hence, we don't have a lot of floors that are 13 floors. And people are afraid. They're made to be afraid of this number culturally or religiously. And the moon cycle is not acknowledged. The Venus cycle, therefore, is not acknowledged because they're all connected to this number 13. So we have this energy that was, in a way, prevented from being infused in our life. And it's totally natural energy. And 13 is so connected to both the light and the dark that they both exist, that we have shadow sides and then we have the visible, the positive, that when we eliminated culturally, religiously, this number, it took away the natural ability to shift, to change, to accept both the shadow and the light in our life without judgment. So it created a lot of division, and it created a suppression of a whole frequency as well, because the number 13 is so connected to the feminine. So when we look at the numbers that 13 is connected to, 13 reducing to 4, having 4 seasons, 4 directions, 13 is aligned to energy itself and to time. It is aligned with cyclical, with the ability to accept cycles in your life and not be upset when you sometimes feel tired, or like, over the holidays where we had 2 retrogrades going, Mercury and Mars. It's the ability to not always be moving forward, but also being reflective and receptive, having a balance between action and receptivity. So we are returning 13 to her glory, meaning we're welcoming the number 13 back into the whole incredible numerology family as an incredible number of just embracing light and dark, life itself, the ability to welcome the moon cycles, to bring them into our life and understand the importance of new moons and full moons, the ability to understand the importance of Venus in our life. Because Venus is so connected to the number 13. Venus is all about love and abundance and pleasure and what you value. And you can imagine a life that focuses on those frequencies is a life well lived. So we really are here to embrace the divine intelligence of this number 13, of Friday, Freya, Vendredi, the whole day. Even in German, Friday is Freitag. Frei is freedom. That's what it means. So you're free not to work on that day, right? You go home, you have your weekend. So there's so much beautiful energy connected to this day and this number. So if you just move into a place of accepting transformation and knowing that even when you're still, you are moving because you're in the present moment. So the stillness is a movement in itself because you're always breathing, and the breath is your connection to the divine. So we don't have to be afraid of stillness, of being receptive, of listening. It actually is a key part of moving forward without stagnancy or without carrying the load of the past. When we're still, we literally are in touch with what is most important in this moment. And so we leave behind the mind's chatter, which often controls what it is we are doing and thinking and saying. And so being in that place of the divine feminine and stillness is absolutely vital to a happy, joyful, beautiful, loving, and abundant life. So there's so much more I can share with you about the number 13, about Mars and Venus, and I have a wonderful free masterclass at venusmarscode.com where we go into the letters V and M. M is the 13th letter. Mars begins with M, which is amazing, right? And then the 13 phases of Venus are covered, the origins of the Mayan calendar, the 5-pointed star of Venus. So much we cover in this free masterclass at venusmarscode.com. So enjoy that this week. It's really the perfect webinar to immerse yourself in as we experience these incredible codes. Have a wonderful, wonderful week and a beautiful Friday the 13th and Mars Direct. And I will see you in next week's Star Codes podcast. Lots of love.